From Studio A in Texas, USA, it's the award-winning All Things Automotive Car Talk Show in Wheel Time. Just ahead, a review of our pre-owned car of the week, the 2017 Hyundai Santa Fe. Our events calendar and a new feature, the Auto Dorks Show and Tell.
What he said.
And we'll also have Conrad's Car Clinic. Stories making automotive news headlines, too. That and more just ahead on today's In Wheel Time car show for Saturday, December 19th, 2020. Howdy. Along with Mike Out of This World Mars, King Conrad DeLong, Jeff Dziekan sitting off camera over there. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad that you could join us. And we'd like to welcome to our broadcast today, Mr. John Hovis, and thank you, and we miss you, John Hovis, at the Hemi Hideout. I was thinking about you just yesterday, as a matter of fact, for some reason, and thinking, we haven't been out to the Hemi Hideout, once, maybe this year? I think early on before the COVID thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
If it was, it would have been February or something, yeah.
Once or twice, yeah.
Yeah,
we understand why it's closed. It's a private collection,
and it's a gallery of places, and
right.
So anyway,
got to follow the rules.
Mike, do we have Joseph?
Yes, sir.
We do.
He is here. He is ready to go.
So we have with us now Mr. Joseph Pledger, and he is with Houston Car Meets and Cruises. And Joseph, hey, it's great to talk to you. Great to see you again. Thanks for joining us on this Saturday.
Thanks for having me.
On such short notice.
Happy birthday to Conrad and Don.
All right, thank you very much, sir. We appreciate that. We've got the birthday band going to play a little bit later on, and you be sure and tune in for that. Anyway,
it's a polka.
So
I know. I wish we would have arranged a birthday cruise for you and just driven by your house, honked, done a couple
Oh,
revs.
yeah.
That's right. We could all wave and have a birthday cruise by. Yeah, exactly.
And actually, you mentioned that, and we kind of giggle about it, but, you've on your Facebook page, you talk about all of these different birthday cruises as they're going on in town. And I know your work and effort into doing that is what drives a lot of people just to go get in their car and go drive by and make somebody else's day fun.
Absolutely. I mean, and, whether it's a teenager or a young kid, I mean, it's been great to get out. I mean, I think the isolation has been one of the worst things with COVID. And luckily, we're, depending on the county that you live in, we're starting to see some increase in the car meets.
Oh, well, yeah. I kind of saw more of a peak of it August, September, October. And now it seems to be waning. But I think a little bit of it wanes off through the Christmas season anyhow. And then is Wayne's World.
Wayne's World. Oh, sorry. Okay.
But, we really appreciate what you do. And I know that I use Houston Car Meets and Cruises as my resource for stuff that's going on in town as well, because if nobody's ever gone to that site, you've got anywhere from 50 to 100, 110 different events each week in the Houston, Southeast Texas market that people can kind of go look at and see, make a choice of what they'd like to go to. So I really commend you.
Absolutely.
How much time do you spend on that a week? Because that's a huge collection of information that you keep up with.
I mean, it's been years in the making. I mean, Houston Car Meets and Cruises is actually celebrating our 5th year anniversary this month. And over the course of that 5 years, I've began to follow a lot of different pages, different clubs that host meets. And by taking all that information, it's readily available in my news feed. I did social media marketing for a while, and so I know how to manage what I see. So, while everybody else is seeing politics, I'm seeing car meets, and so it's definitely kept me sane. And I just gather the information. I spend probably about 6 to 10 hours a week between finding events, doing searches on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday for a post, what I call the weekly update. And then I spend about an hour in the evening, and I just create a list with links so that people can go and join discussions about the events. They can, keep them up to date, whether or not an event's been canceled. Unfortunately, like today, we've had quite a few cancellations due to the weather. But at the same time, there's some that are rain or shine. So having that list by date and time has really helped the members. We have a little over 5,800 members now, all Houstonians. and they all stay relatively active on the page, which is great.
Well, and that's something, if people go check it out on Facebook, you have to be invited or approved to join the Facebook page. And I appreciate you doing that, because it keeps most of the riffraff out. You let me in, so you made one mistake.
So that's why he said most of the riffraff, not all of it.
Well, that probably is what takes the most time out of that 6 to 10 hours per week, is that I get roughly 150 to 200 requests to join. And I've had to simplify it for myself, because it used to take 15 to 20 hours.
Oh, wow.
And I basically said, here's the rules, here's the guidelines. I almost lost the page a couple of years ago, because hosts started looking at my page as the page that was giving the information to the undesirable attendee, the people who are going to go there and rev and do burnouts and things like that. And I didn't want the page to be known for that. And I didn't want to lose the respect of the hosts, because without the hosts, my page doesn't exist.
Right.
And so I shut it down for about a month and went through every single member. And at that time we had almost 6,000. It's taken us about a year to get back there, but I don't promote it. It's strictly word of mouth advertising to get to the page or invites. So, I'm happy with what it is. I'm not there to, get 15,000 or 20,000, but it definitely is all Houstonians.
Right.
And that makes a big difference. So you've got a process, and I think you're never going to be able to, stop somebody like Conrad from showing up and doing a couple of donuts out in the middle of the parking lot. But, you're at least trying to screen that, and I think everybody really appreciates that.
Absolutely. We have to do what we can. It's not a perfect process. I get messages from probably about 5% of the people who request to join and wind up not getting in. And they're like, why don't I get in? I said, you don't meet this standard, or this is the reason why.
You suck. That's basically it. You suck and you can't get in.
I try to be as respectful as possible. I give every host
you
the
suck,
benefit
sir.
of the doubt, but ultimately, it turns out that they just don't meet. You're judged by the company you keep, right. And we want to ensure that the Houston car scene has the most positive. Yeah, well, I don't hold Conrad at your proximity to Conrad too much.
We try not to sit too close to him.
And there is, and that's what I really appreciate, because in how you manage the page, because there are some, what I'll say, less than desirable behaviors that can happen at some of these events that can bring the police in, that can jeopardize the safety of people. And all of the meets, all of the big meets, try and do all they can to minimize that. And it's ultimately driven by the people that show up. As those people show up and misbehave, that's what shuts meets down, and on and off over time. Different meets kind of get turned on and turned off because stupid people do stupid things.
The thing I've noticed is that I've been to several meets with Don and y'all this past year. The things I see is that the folks that attended police themselves.
Try very hard
they
to.
They do that, and it's actually respectful in a way that, you do see something that's undesirable. The folks that are attending will control it themselves rather than getting law enforcement or the host involved in it. They'll do away with it on their own. Yep. That's what I see.
Yeah,
that's absolutely right. The biggest and best events, they draw the right crowd, and the majority of those people attending are the ones that will help the host because they want to see the show be successful and continue. Right. I met with hosts about a year ago, met with Troy and Andrew, and I think it was about 10 hosts, and we met out in Katy, and we just talked. What is it that you're doing that's worked for you? What is it that I can do to help y'all? And that's where we came up with the idea, I'll focus on how I can restrict membership and keep it to just the people that we believe are going to do the best. But I've seen it. There is no logic to who is going to be the potential person to mess up a meet and who's not. I've seen people in their 80s and 90s that want to rev an engine. They leave a parking lot and they hit a curb. I've seen it as teenagers driving their parents' cars. There's no rhyme or reason. There's no age or ethnicity. It's all over. It's people that just don't have the experience, unfortunately, and they just show out. It's having people on the curb with their cell phone cameras and they want to be the next YouTube star. So
and egging people on to do stupid stuff, and that's where it takes the attendees to try and shut that down. But boy, I'll tell you, some of those big meets, it's real hard to do. Even
the biggest and best meets, you don't see people on the curb,
right,
with their cameras. They're doing it while they're in the parking spots. So.
Right, they're walking around and enjoying the vehicles and stuff, But really and truly, because that kind of activity you're talking about is pretty much what killed the coffee and cars scene. I mean, there used to be all over the place.
Multiple times, because coffee and cars has kind of moved different places throughout the city, because at some point people show up and misbehave and they get shut down because all of these hosts have to depend on the property owner to give them permission to hold the meet there. In a lot of instances, they have to carry liability insurance as well.
You know what I think is cool also, the ones that we've been to recently? Folks have the little drones, and they're flying around with drones above the cars and taking pictures, video, and snapping. I think that's so
pretty cool.
You're standing there looking at a car, and you hear a little buzz behind you, and it's a drone.
Yeah, I know. And Joseph does this this contest to get your club on his banner of his page, and I don't own a drone, so I've never been on the banner of his page.
You don't need a drone. I tell you, I look for what is the quintessential meet. I don't allow single pictures on the banner. I don't want to highlight one car, but I change it up every month. Sometimes it's it needs to be a holiday theme. Sometimes it's one car. Sometimes it's the person who's on the page at the time when I do it. I want to give the littlest guy a chance, because there's a lot of professional photographers that do some great work in Houston, and they win a lot. Or a certain club. Who was it? I believe it was the Subaru.
The Subaru Club makes the banner quite often.
Well, and guess why? It's because they have a lot of members that are on the page. They have a lot of meets. They want to share their events, and
they do cool photography as well. Their staging of the photograph is actually well organized. Just me standing next to my yellow Oldsmobile just doesn't cut
with the trunk open.
Yeah, with the trunk closed, fortunately.
Yeah, I try to give everybody an equal opportunity. This year, I stepped out of the usual Houston Car Meets and Cruises posts. I wanted to help businesses as much as we could in regards to the COVID pandemic. And I said, hey, you feel free to share your service, your business, and we'll allow you to promote on this page. And then as of 2021, I've seen a good uptick in the repeat car shows. So what I'm going to do is just do a single post where businesses can go on there if they're willing to host or use their lot for an event, because that's one of the biggest things is having a location that's willing to that has a large enough lot and that's willing to have a car show come out, because there's clubs that need a venue. And they become regulars, and it creates a good amount of business for them. And that's what we want to do, is help support local businesses and give, again, the car community a venue to host at.
That's a great idea, because now you're helping both sides of it, exactly. The facility as well as the car community here in town. We really appreciate that. You do a wonderful job, and it's Houston Car Meets and Cruises on Facebook.
So let me ask you, it's the middle of December. What? Hopefully not much of this year is left, but is there anything going on that people can look at for the holidays for the rest of the year?
Yeah, there's going to be a couple of toy drives tomorrow. Actually, I believe at Aviva Stadium, there's going to be one of the biggest toy drives with ESCM and HIN, the Hot Import Nights and Eat Sleep Car Meets. That's going to be the biggest one for the remainder of the year. But after Christmas, you get a lot of pop-up meets, events where people are starting to get a little stir crazy because they may not be going to work, they may be on vacation, and they want to just get out there, maybe try their new toy out that they got on their car.
It's still in the trunk of my Oldsmobile.
But the new year's looking positive. I mean, I'm starting to see a lot more of the recurring weekly meets. Showplace Classics has their weekly meet. There's weekly meets in New Caney. New Caney's actually growing quite a bit in regards to the meets that they're doing. And then, of course, we have our monthly meets with Tailpipes and Tacos. Lupe Tortilla. So it's a great way to have that recurring meeting and be able to help out a business.
And the nice thing about your page is you can find something nearby you throughout Houston. You know, if you kind of go on the page and read it, because you talked about Katy, we talk about the Woodlands. Santa Fe has some stuff going on quite a bit. Baytown's got some stuff going on.
You got
quite
the College Station one coming up on the 10th.
Lucky's Rod Run. I appreciate you sharing that. I didn't realize that was coming up that close. I know Don's going to take the vet out again.
They're still pending permits, and the city is slowly doing permits. Obviously, they're having issues at the city issuing permits because a lot more requests due to COVID.
Can you give us
not having staff?
Can you give us an idea what it takes to get a permit? What are the questions asked? What you have to kind of hoops you got to jump through?
It varies by city. I've looked at the permitting for the city of Houston, and it's a 1 to 2 page document. It's not very excessive, but there are certain requirements. That's where the issues come. It's not the paperwork. It's if you have over X number of people, you may be required to have law enforcement personnel.
And liability insurance as well. Yeah,
liability insurance, proof of that, as well as EMTs on site for first aid, that kind of thing. So it's not always the paperwork. It's the support of getting the things that that are required of you to have a event at a venue of a certain size.
And I remember last year, Lucky's Rod Run, it's been going on for quite a long time, but all of the approvals didn't happen until like the last 2 weeks because the city of College Station was, maybe not as open to the event going on, not realizing the amount of money it brings to the town. I think finally when they went and talked about the revenue it brings to all of the businesses in town, they were like, oh, well, that's sales tax revenue. We make money on that. And I think that might have been what kind of turned the corner for them.
Yeah, there's some really huge events that had to be shut down, and the cities, it's a fine balance right now between wanting to support the businesses of your city and bring in these events, but also ensuring the safety of the visitors and your community. So I don't envy them at all. I feel for them. I know they're going to make the best decision with the information that they have, both the hosts and the venues. There's had to be some cancellations last minute. I know to the Paul Walker meet at Houston Raceway or at Aviva Stadium that her and ESTM are doing. But I'm happy to see that there's recurring events, that they're helping out local businesses. That to me is going to be the best thing. So we mask up if you need to mask up, follow the city's guidelines so that way the meets can continue and that the venues want to get that support, and Houston will be strong.
And just behave when you're there. Follow the rules. It's not hard to do. A lot of times, or most of the time, your links on the page to the events that you're talking about, they all have rules on them, and the rules really aren't that different between events, but they're not hard to follow. Just do it, and it keeps the event going for a long time.
So let's review. I'm going to know a little bit more about tomorrow's event. Would you say it's BBVA Compass Stadium?
Aviva Stadium.
Aviva.
It's the Eat Sleep Car Meet and Hot Import Nights Toy Drive.
Where is that stadium?
I believe it's in South Houston.
Viva Stadium?
Yeah. I wonder.
It's the Viva Stadium Sports Complex, and it is located at 12131 Kirby Drive in Houston.
12135 Kirby.
So that's south
131.
of. Yeah, that's south of. Seriously, south of the Astrodome.
Well, Kirby runs on down there.
Right. I'd say this is kind of getting probably close to, I'm going to say Beltway 8.
288 just inside the Beltway.
Yeah, I was going to say just down around Beltway 8.
Okay, because I know that there's a new stadium down there, and I think it is a rugby stadium.
Oh, really?
I think, and that may be it. I'm not sure. I have to look it up, but yeah, it sounds like it.
But Hot Import Nights, they've been in town for quite some time and doing some big meets, and everybody loves a toy drive.
Exactly.
And an opportunity, if you missed today because of all of the rain and stuff, tomorrow's supposed to be a beautiful day. Might be a little chilly.
No.
It's
No, 65, so that'll be a great time for a cruise in tomorrow.
Great sunny day to get your toy out and take it for a spin.
Joseph, thank you so much for joining us. You're a wealth of information, and if you really want to get onto his website, you need to beg, borrow, and steal, apparently.
And be nice.
Don't be rude.
And don't be friends with me, I guess, if he's trying to keep the undesirables out.
The riffraff out. Joseph, thanks so much. We really appreciate you, man. Have a great holiday season.
Thanks for having me. Y'all have a happy holiday as well.
Thank you. All right. Time now for this hour's car review. And, this is our new expanded 3-hour format that we have, because we are now a 3-hour show beginning at 8 a.m. on Saturdays, 8 to 11. That's our new hours, and we're going to stick to it for a while, I think.
Didn't the SS Minnow go on a 3-hour tour?
Yes. Thank you very much, Gilligan.
And that's
right,
3-hour tour, a 3-hour tour.
The weather started getting rough.
rough.
The tiny ship was so does that make you the
Continue
professor?
on. Do you know
or does that
that?
make you the millionaire?
Makes me Marianne.
I knew he was. I knew it.
You've been married before, so why not marry Ann?
Skipper, Professor, and Mike's the millionaire.
Mike's the millionaire.
There you go.
I got news for you.
Oh, darling, it's Thurston Howell the third.
Thurston Mars the third.
All right, Mr. Dziekan is now has joined the car reviews. Mike and I do a new car review once each hour, and then Jeffrey gets the pre-owned car of the week.
Yep.
And
Jeff's POV.
And we try to keep it within reason that that you might perhaps be looking for a used vehicle. And we try to keep it around 3 years or so old.
Right. Yeah.
Because usually in that frame of
we're
mind.
not looking at a 1986 Oldsmobile 88.
That's next week.
Yeah, that's another show.
That's on a tow hook.
Yeah. Anyway,
broken
so
key
Mr.
cylinder.
Zekin this week has the 2017 Hyundai Santa Fe.
Yes, I do. And to mention that the 3-year average, that's the sweet spot for mileage, pricing. That's generally what folks want to look at. So that's why we do the 3 year, 3 to 4 years. So this is a 2017 Hyundai Santa Fe Limited all-wheel drive. This is
Top of the line.
Allegedly the big boy. Now, so far as available trim levels, there's too many to name. There are 15 different trim levels for this vehicle. So in respect of time, we're not going to name them, but there are. They're
that could be a
super long.
2021 vehicle
could
right
be.
there.
It
looks
could
like
be.
it.
No, it's a 17. It is a limited. The class is an SUV. It is a 6-seat passenger vehicle, which is the maximum that you can put in, not like the one you're driving this week, Don. What's the changes and the features? You've got the swooping undergrille. You have fog lamps, slotted-looking headlamps, the rocker accent trims. You see the rear there with the fascia or the rear fascia with the dual exhaust and the cutouts. And
Actually, it looks pretty nice.
It does look pretty nice. And in doing this review, I'm looking at this. I'm looking at some of the other vehicles. I'm looking at the ones I drive. They're all they're related somehow in a design. They're all related some way with the fascia, with a light structure, where they put the logos, and anything. They're all kind of related. They cross over.
To get that mass through the air, they all have to have some similarities.
Exactly. Spoke aluminum wheels, dual exhaust, roof spoilers, as you see there. Obviously, this is a 4-door. I like this little vehicle. You call it a truck, call it SUV, you call it what you want. It is a neat little vehicle, and of course, they're all neat in that respect with the SUVs and the CUVs. Exactly. There's plenty of leg room in it. Getting into the interior side of it, you've got get the cloth or the leather. You've got the power liftgate. You got HID headlights, keyless entry, premium sound, MP3 player, so that you can listen to in wheel time on your radio.
That works.
Absolutely, your podcasts. It's got the smart device integration, backup camera, variable speed wipers, which they all have now.
Good-looking interior.
That is a good-looking interior. Little cockpit sides of it. It reminds me of mine. Of course, there's so many others out there. Like I say, they all cross over at some respect. You've got the center pod, depending on the design. You got it all touch screens and touch buttons in there. Everything's on the steering wheel. You've got a good cluster for the dash. It's a good-looking little vehicle. Wireless phone charging, dual-zone ACs, heated and cooled seats. There you go. That's a nice little pod. I like that. I like the shape, and the way it's structured into the screen itself. So it is a 3.3 liter V6, which is on the smaller side of the V6 available. In all the markets, you do have a 4-cylinder available. It is 290 horsepower at 6,400 RPM. You have 252 foot-pounds of torque at 5,200. It is a 4,100-pound vehicle, and it's a 6-speed automatic transmission. So it's
got a lot of weight to it.
Right, it's got a lot of weight, and it can move 18 miles per gallon in the city, 24 miles per gallon on the highway, average about 21 to 22. Hold that shot if you could, Mike. 18.8 gallons in the tank. It's a typical SUV. All SUVs kind of look alike to me, but that's me. What that picture is there of the two folks shaking hands, that is Hyundai's first logo. You can picture either the one on the right or the one on the left is a representative of Hyundai.
That one on the left is a little questionable about where his hand or arm is placed.
The representative of Hyundai is shaking hands with a prospective client, and that's where the H comes through.
Which one is which?
I never realized that was their logo, original logo was the two people.
Yeah, one is a representative of Hyundai, and the other is a client that they're introducing to the company. Now, base price.
I understand why they changed.
We've lost control.
No, you've lost control. I just bring it to the table. You can hit it out.
Oh, my God.
Okay, and the pricing, base pricing is anywhere from 16 to 32, depending on the mileage.
I'm glad that they changed that.
Hold that shot, Mike.
Yeah, I'm holding.
Yeah, just hold it.
16 to 32,000 pricing. Now, the one we just featured here with the representative of Hyundai, $32,550 at 29,000 miles. So, with the Hyundai, with this product, you could go up a little bit on miles, and you're not going to lose on the pricing. Chevy Traverse and Ford Escape, all of those pretty much are the same competitors in this feature. So there you have it.
Well, I think you know what? I think you just need to leave that logo up for the rest of the show.
I think I'm going to move it on.
Now next week we're going to do a pogo stick contest.
And see if we get that pogo stick to smoking.
There you go. We're going to be smoking pogo.
Oh gosh.
Well, if nothing else, we have lots of fun doing the show.
Yep.
We try hard.
And don't forget, you don't pay for this either. So
You're getting everything you paid for.
Free.
We're going to have to regather our thoughts and continue on right after a quick break. So we invite you to stay with us. Minute and a half, nothing to you.
Is your business or company looking to stand out in a crowded advertising market? Looking to reach the real auto enthusiast? Well, you found it. You're listening or watching In Wheel Time, and so are your fellow enthusiasts. The In Wheel Time Car Show now reaches 500,000, and we can put together a marketing plan that will engage them in your product, business, or service. To get the tires rolling, just shoot us an email to our marketing director, Jeff Dziekan. His address is jeff@inwheeltime.com. Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's premier cruise-in, and you're invited to join in. Whether you're a cruiser or a spectator, Tailpipes and Tacos is the place to enjoy made-to-order breakfast tacos, fresh coffee, and mingle with Houston's fun car people. Mark your calendar for Saturday, January 16th for Tailpipes and Tacos at the Lupi Tortilla Mexican Restaurant in Katy, 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. Tailpipes and Tacos is free, and everyone is invited. You'll see collector cars, hot rods, customs, magnificent originals, and resto mods all at one location. Cars from from all over Southeast Texas cruise in and show off in a friends and family event. The Lupi Tortilla Mexican Restaurant on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10 and Katy. Drag racer, car enthusiast, and Lupi founder Stan Holt brings you Houston's hottest cruise in, tailpipes and tacos. Saturday, January 16th, 8 to 11 a.m. at Lupi's in Katy. The In Wheel Time Car Show will be there too. Get your ride ready and we'll see you at the Tailpipes and Tacos Saturday morning cruise in, January 16th, 8 to 11 a.m. at Lupi's in Katy, weather permitting. Texas Truck Works is your go-to truck customizer. From mild to wild lift kits, custom wheels, and steering and handling enhancements to the best personal and commercial wraps, Texas Truck Works delivers. Let Texas Truck Works founder Scott Stevens help you get the most out of your truck or Jeep. Texas Truck Works has decades of customizing experience, including power adders and complete engine swaps. Let the Texas Truck Works team design an upgrade plan that fits your budget. Get truck attitude today at TexasTruckWorks.com.